One quiet evening, a young boy climbed into bed and paused. The room looked the same as always, yet something felt wrong. Moonlight striped the floor, his blanket was pulled up, and his pillow waited at the headboard. Still, the spot beside him felt empty. Then he understood. His favorite plush rabbit was gone. It was the small, worn rabbit with a stitched smile and one bent ear. The boy reached to the usual place and touched only cool sheets. His heart began to tap fast. He searched everywhere. He lifted the blanket and pillows, checked the folds, then slid off the bed and looked underneath, squinting into dusty shadows. He opened drawers, checked the toy box, the laundry basket, and behind the curtain. He even peeked into the hallway, hoping it might somehow be there. Nothing. That rabbit had followed him through storms, long car rides, and lonely moments. Holding it made him feel steady, like a little piece of home. Without it, his room felt too quiet. Sleep finally came with one simple wish: to find the rabbit again. When his eyes opened, he was not in his room. He stood on warm sand beside a glowing ocean under a silver moon. Tiny lights drifted over the water, as if starlight had fallen and decided to float. Far away, an island shimmered on the horizon, glowing softly like a heartbeat. Small boats drifted toward it, boats made from folded paper and toy scraps. They moved without oars and never turned the wrong way. Something inside the boy told him to follow. He stepped onto a drifting boat, and the ocean carried him forward, smooth as a lullaby. As the island grew closer, he heard gentle sounds, distant laughter, soft music, and the quiet hum of many small lives. His boat touched shore. Glowing trees swayed overhead, their leaves shining like lanterns. Between the trunks, shapes moved quickly and happily. Toys. Toys were everywhere. A teddy bear climbed a branch. A toy train rolled along a shining path. Dolls twirled beneath lights made from spinning tops. Blocks stacked into castles and softly fell again. None of the toys looked worried. They looked peaceful, as if this place had been waiting for them. The boy walked slowly, amazed and careful. Toys noticed him and waved, as if they understood why he was here. He walked past a shelf made from driftwood, where tiny action figures stood like guards. He passed a circle of marbles that glowed like little moons. A stuffed bear offered him a gentle nod, and a wind-up mouse clicked along, leaving bright footprints that faded behind it. The boy felt a strange comfort, like arriving in a place that understood sadness, but refused to let it stay. Near the center of the village, he saw a small campfire. Its light flickered orange and gold, and toys sat around it sharing warmth like friends. Beside the fire, sitting quietly with its bent ear and stitched smile, was his plush rabbit. Relief rushed through the boy. He ran forward. But just before he reached the rabbit, a wooden toy soldier stepped into his path. The soldier's paint was worn, yet his posture was steady and kind. He raised one hand, a calm sign to stop. The boy froze, confused, his hand still reaching. The soldier guided him a few steps away and explained that this island was a home for lost toys. When toys were lost in the world, misplaced, forgotten during moves, left behind, or simply not carried anymore, they eventually found their way here. Not because children were cruel, because life changed. Some children grew taller and learned new games. Some families moved. Sometimes a toy slipped away by accident and could not be found, no matter how hard a child searched. The island welcomed all of them, so they would not feel alone. The boy shook his head. He still needed his rabbit. Wanting it back felt like proof that it should return. The soldier pointed upward. Above the island, tiny lights floated into the sky like slow stars. The soldier explained that every light was a memory shared between a child and a toy. Every bedtime hug, every brave moment, every comfort on a hard day. Memories did not vanish when a toy was lost. They moved into the heart and stayed safe there. The boy watched the lights and felt something loosen inside him. He followed the soldier along glowing paths. Everywhere he looked, toys helped one another. A broken robot guided a kite with a torn tail. A doll nudged a tiny car missing its wheels. Here, being lost did not mean being unloved. The plush rabbit hopped beside the boy as if waiting for one last adventure. Together, they crossed glowing hills and fields that sparkled like morning dew. The boy remembered old games. The rabbit as an explorer, a traveler, a tiny hero on a pillow mountain. At the center of the island stood a great tree built from toy parts, blocks, puzzle pieces, ribbons, buttons, and gears. From its branches hung glowing ribbons like strands of moonlight. In those ribbons, scenes appeared and faded like gentle pictures. The boy saw himself younger, hugging the rabbit during storms. He saw himself building towers and placing the rabbit on top like a king. He saw himself after a hard day, pressing the rabbit close just to feel steady again. A warm presence surrounded him, not a person and not a toy, but something kind that felt like the island itself. It explained that growing up did not mean forgetting. It meant learning how to carry love in a new way. A toy could leave a hand, but it could never leave a memory. The presence also seemed to show him a truth without words. Holding on too tightly could turn love into worry. Letting go with kindness could turn love into peace. The boy listened with his whole heart, and the island's light felt softer, as if it was saying that goodbyes could be gentle. The boy turned toward the rabbit. The rabbit's stitched smile looked the same, but the glow around it felt like a gentle goodbye. He knelt and hugged it with both arms. It felt familiar, soft, comforting, exactly what he had missed.
Then he understood. The warmth did not come from owning the rabbit. It came from what they had shared. Tears filled his eyes. He held the rabbit a little longer, then slowly loosened his arms. The rabbit stepped back gently, as if it was also trying to be brave. The sky began to brighten. Memory lights rose higher. Toys gathered near the shoreline, calm and steady, watching the lights drift upward. The boy reached forward again, then stopped. He took a slow breath and let his hands fall to his sides. He looked at the rabbit and gave a small nod, a quiet promise to keep the memory safe. A gentle wave rolled in, glowing along its edge, and carried the boy backward. The island faded slowly, drifting into the distance like a boat at sunset. The laughter grew quiet, and the glow softened. Then morning birds replaced it. The boy opened his eyes in his bedroom. Sunlight spilled across the floor. The bed still had an empty space beside his pillow. The rabbit was still gone. But the emptiness felt different. It still hurt, but it no longer felt sharp.
He reached for paper and a pencil and drew the plush rabbit from memory. The stitched smile, the bent ear, the soft shape that had fit so perfectly in his arms. When he finished, he placed the drawing beside his bed. Days passed. He began sharing toys with younger children who needed them. Each time he shared, he felt the island's light return inside him. Sometimes at night, he imagined paper boats drifting toward the shining shore. Sometimes he pictured his rabbit by the campfire, surrounded by friends, safe and peaceful. And when he thought of his rabbit, he no longer felt only loss. He felt gratitude. He felt growth. He felt love that had changed shape, but had not disappeared. Somewhere beyond the ocean, the island where lost toys go continued to glow softly in the dark, welcoming every lost toy with a story inside it, and keeping every childhood memory safe, waiting quietly for the next dream to find its way home.